Okay, everybody, I want you guys to join me in my wine making process. Today, I am going to be making peach honey wine, and I want it to be very strong. The recipe only calls for 2 pounds of wine, but I want my wine to be flavorful, so I'm using 4 pounds. This will be my first batch of wine I ever made, so let's see how it turns out. So first I am going to be adding my bags of fruit into my fruit straining bag. But the first step of making any type of wine is to make sure your stuff, every equipment that's going to be touching the wine is cleaned properly. So I use this Easy Clean to clean everything. All right, so let's start. I don't know where I'm gonna put my phone, but find something to make it work. Grab an old wine bottle and prop my phone up. Alright, so this is my primary fermenting container. Just gonna take the bag of fruit. Some of my fruit spilled out. So I have to get that fruit and put it back in the straining bag. I'm going to use my spoon that I made to use to make my simple syrup. Everything has to be very, very sterile, so you don't want to be using anything that you did not already clean with the Easy to Clean solution. So with the Easy Clean solution, you clean it, but you do not rinse that solution off because it sanitizes all of your equipment. Just sit my spoon in here just in case I need it again if I make a mess and spill. Fruit. in our straining bag. So now I am going to add the simple syrup that I made. The simple syrup that I made, I actually added the honey to the simple syrup. So this recipe calls for about a quart of water. And since I made my simple syrup using like about a half quart of water, I just added in just a little more water. You don't want to fill your bucket to the top, because once you add the yeast and it starts fermenting, you don't want it to overflow because it's going to start foaming. Just a little more water. Alright, so next you want to add 1.5 tablespoons of acid blend. So where's my acid blend? Alright, this is my acid blend. And it's very important to read the directions, because I said 1.5 tablespoons, but it's actually 1.5 teaspoons. Yes, we're going to use 1.5 teaspoons. So this is 1 teaspoon. Then we use our 1/2 teaspoon. Then we'll be using 1 teaspoon of our peptic enzyme. which is this. Then we'll use a 1/4 teaspoon of our tannin, which is this. And this is what helps give wine its color. This is what our tannin looks like. Then you want to use a 1/2 teaspoon of the Energizer, which, what is that? Alright, so I'm not sure what the Energizer is. So we're just going to skip that for now, because until I find out what that is. So we are going to use 1 sodium Campden tablet that needs to be crushed. So I'm going to get a sandwich bag and crush this up. Crush it on the table. All right, then I'm going to assume, just because I used everything else, remember I said this is my first time making one, I'm going to believe that this Energizer must be the potassium sorbate. Or I didn't use this yeast nutrition. Okay. So we need to find out what the Energizer is. Because nothing on here says Energizer. So I'm not going to use this because I don't want my wine stabilized. So I'm guessing it's not the potassium sorbate. And yeah, not sure what the Energizer is. And I know you don't add the yeast until after 24 hours of fermentation. To take my cup and just, well, not a cup, but my spoon, and just mix this in here good. Got to bring my tannin on my bag. Let's get that off and get it actually into the wine. Just mush up your peaches in your straining bag. Make sure you get all that flavor out into the actual wine. So to make my wine, and my simple syrup consists of 2 pounds of sugar. So now somebody messing up my wine video. I am going to put this lid on. I guess. that you want the lid to just sit on. We have our airtight block. So we are going to allow our wine to ferment for 24 hours, and then we are going to add our yeast. And I'm going to check back with you guys after our wine has fermented for 10 days in this primary fermenting container.